We are here today with Sue Holdsworth, who is project manager at RECOVER Urban Wellbeing with the City of Edmonton. Sue, thank you so much for making time for this. How did you personally get interested in, or inspired by, or started in thinking about well-being measurement in those terms and changing the way we evaluate or prioritize policy?
I'm a long-time City of Edmonton employee, and for the last decade or so, I've been a project manager in the Community Services Department, and I'm specifically situated in something called the Social Development Branch. And I part-time started helping with RECOVER with this initiative in 2017. And over time, I've taken on a larger role. But the origins of the work were, in 2017, because safe injection sites were being proposed in our city. There was a lot of concern around what people call social disorder. And people were, really concerned about the concentration of social services in and around downtown. And so council said, go figure it out, and gave us a mandate to tackle urban wellness somehow. They thought it was going to be increased coordination and, integration of services. But we very quickly kind of realized that that's not what was going to make the big difference. It was going to be focusing on other things like healing, meaning, and culture. And we dove into deep ethnographic research and prototyping ideas, and we learned more and more about this thing called well-being, urban well-being, because, we were given a mandate to improve it without really knowing what we meant by it, right? And as I became more and more involved, it was personally transformative. It changed my perspective on so many things. And honestly, it's helped me to connect to my own human purpose. It's impacted on my own well-being and on my own motivations and how I turn up and now as a neighbor in my neighborhood when I'm when I come downtown with people.
Can we turn to RECOVER Urban Wellbeing? Can you tell us a little bit about, maybe starting from scratch, what it is, and then some of your activities, how your activities relate to this well-being thing?
So RECOVER Urban Wellbeing is essentially three things. Number one, it's an approach to improving well-being. And by that, I largely mean social research and development approach. And if you're familiar with social R&D, you can envision it as kind of as two diamonds next to each other connected. The first diamond is about understanding problems. So we spend a lot of time in that diamond. The second one is in designing solutions. And, so often people jump to solutions without fully understanding problems. I was in another presentation and I heard somebody say, if you have 5 minutes, spend 4 of them understanding your problem and 1 on your solution idea. And part of that is also in trying to incorporate Indigenous perspectives, making space for other knowledge systems and cultural perspectives. And number 2, RECOVER is our well-being framework. On the outside of it's a multi-layered framework. On the outside are the levers for change, the tools that we identified, and they generally correspond to systems change levers. And number 3, we're a set of experiments. We also can call them prototypes. They're not pilots. They're small, aspects of solution ideas that we test with people. We co-design them, co-create them with people in community. We figure out what works, what doesn't work. And when we're doing that, we're really paying attention to conditions in the system. What are the things that either help or hinder those solution ideas from growing?
Can you put that into context of the broader Edmonton government?
Yes, absolutely.
Is there sort of an imperialism in that ultimately more and more of what the government does should be under the kind of thinking that RECOVER brings?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that we do fit in the city context in the corporate business plan under the healthy city goal. We have a city plan that's like our municipal development plan. And there are 5 big city moves that are identified, one of which is called Inclusive and Compassionate, and we are very much aligned with that big city move. And also, I mentioned earlier, the city has its own community safety and well-being strategy, and we are funded through that strategy, and it has a number of pillars, one of which is well-being, and we fall within that pillar and are collaborating with other people across the city, in other sections and all that, trying to support community safety and well-being work. We've been busy socializing our framework, sharing it with different colleagues, across the city. I see it now somewhat reflected in the community safety and well-being strategy, which is much more of an umbrella kind of a strategy here at the city. It's happening bit by bit. Whether or not it becomes like a policy, gets kind of like policy status, I don't know yet, or like GBA plus, it's mandated that everybody has to embrace GBA plus in the city, gender-based analysis plus. Maybe we'll get there. I hope so.